end, or would you like to make an open statement?
I'd like to make a closing statement at the end, Your Honor.
Okay. And that's after your client makes his statement.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Roche,
Yes.
we also have 3 family members. Well,
Okay.
3
And
family members.
okay. And I think we have Ms. Kendrick Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Taylor, and your relationship?
I'm his niece.
Okay.
And she will be.
And Ms. Taylor will be giving a statement. Is that right, Ms. Teresa?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
And then we have Diane Bickham. What is your relationship?
I'm the mother of Kendrick's 4 children.
Okay, great. Teresa, is that it?
And there's also Bianca Jenkins, who's also with Diana Bickham. She's a
Okay,
family friend.
thank you. Ms. Taylor, you will be given a chance to make a statement at the very end, okay?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
you are 43 years old
Yes, sir.
and you're a second felony offender.
Yes, sir.
Let me finish the entire statement, and then I'll ask you if this information is correct. You're a second felony offender. Your offense is attempted possession of cocaine between 28 and 200 grams. You were sentenced on 4/8/15. You were sentenced to 22 years. Your parole date is June 14, 2020. Your good time date, 12/21/35, and your full term date, 12/15/36. Is this information correct?
Yes, sir.
We're going to start the interview this morning with Mrs. Wise.
Good morning, Mr. Taylor.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, doing good. The records reflect you have 525 days of program. So you've been busy doing this 5 years. Call out the programs that meant the most to you.
I would say 2 stand out the most. That would be NOBTS and Living in Balance.
All right. And I think you had Living in Balance 1 and 2.
Yes, ma'am.
And NO, which one you said? NO what?
NOBTS.
Tell me about that.
That's New Orleans Baptist Theological Seminary.
Okay. Good. I also looked at your supervision record, and in my notes, I said you have poor supervision in the past. So tell me what's going to be different this time. Why should I vote to let you out this time on parole?
Now, this time I am well prepared. I got a great support system that I plan to utilize. Any problems I may have, I can go to these people for support. I have my children. The most important thing to me right now, I need to be there for them.
You didn't mention your parole officer. You can go to your parole officer.
Yes, ma'am. In the past, I've been able to go to her, and she's helped me out a lot.
Okay. So what was this possession of cocaine, these drug charges? Were you a user or a dealer?
Ma'am, I was both.
Okay.
And dealer.
Okay. And so what have you had for what age did you start using drugs?
It had to be in my teens, late teens.
Okay. And so what's your plan to stay clean and sober this time?
A lot of family time. I stay busy, stay into positive things, just surrounding myself with positive people.
Okay. So you don't have any treatment programs that you plan on attending?
Yes, ma'am. In my community, they hold the AA meetings regularly. I plan to do that
Okay,
in other programs that are available in my area.
okay, okay. You do have a low Tiger score. I see you have some college critics. Tell me about that.
I love it. I've been struggling with a little American classic literature. It's been a problem for me, but I've been enjoying it. It frees my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I hope to finish this year.
Oh, and that's going to be a degree in business administration with a minor in management. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are you planning on doing with that?
Eventually, I want to get off into the food service industry, owning my own business. But from the start, I want to work with someone so I can learn the business from the inside out, all different aspects.
Okay, okay, that sounds good. That really, that's very competitive. But it's a doable plan. It is a realistic plan.
Yes.
There's some indication about your mother in the hospital. Tell me, I'm sorry to hear that. So how's things going with your mom? What's the latest?
I believe the mother deceased.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's okay. I didn't know. When did she pass?
It would have been since the COVID outbreak, Your Honor.
It was on April the 29th.
April. Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm so sorry for your loss, sir. I am so sorry for your loss. I am so sorry. All righty. All righty. So what are your residence plans?
I get out, I'll stay with my brother.
Where does he live?
Franklinton, Louisiana.
He's in Louisiana?
Yes, ma'am, Franklinton, Louisiana.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay then. And then you would just what are your short-term plans to support yourself?
My short-term plans is I've been talking to my brother and some friends, and he's pretty sure he can get me a part-time job where he's working. I don't think he got the paperwork in time to the board, but he's assured me he can find something for me there.
Okay, okay, well, you finish up. So now, the records show you have 11 years of education. So when did you get your GED? Your high set?
2002.
Okay, okay, 2002. Okay, now, you are 43 years old, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Of the 43 years, how much of that time would you estimate you spent in jail?
16 years.
Okay. You've had enough of it, sir?
My goodness, yes, ma'am. Too
You
much.
sure? You sure?
I am 100% positive.
Okay, that's all I had, Chairman.
Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Taylor, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your drug use. You said
Yes,
you
sir.
started using drugs when you were a teenager. What sort of drugs were you using?
Marijuana. So
Just marijuana?
marijuana, later on in life, a little of cocaine.
A little of cocaine. What does that mean? Little of cocaine.
Maybe twice a week.
For how long?
2 years.
Now, you were out at one point on supervision and you got revoked. What was
Yes,
the
sir.
purpose of the revocation?
That was the cocaine, sir.
Were you on drugs at the time or were you just dealing drugs?
I was on drugs at the time, sir.
You talked a little bit, or you answered Ms. Wise's question a few minutes ago when she asked if you were on drugs or dealing drugs, and you said a combination of both.
Yes, sir.
You know, in my opinion, A drug addict, it's a disease. A drug dealer is a criminal.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like you to explain to me the difference between your drug use and your drug dealing. Why, we can help you get treatment for your drug abuse, but drug dealing, that's a whole different animal. And that's
Yes.
a whole different thing. You're hurting a lot of people when you're doing that. You hurt a lot of people when you're a drug addict, but you're hurting a lot of people when you're selling drugs and dealing drugs. So tell me why I should trust that you're going to quit dealing drugs.
Okay. Well, now I understand that dealing drugs is not a victimless crime. It hurts a lot of people. So in here, I see the hurt that I helped create. I see in my children, they'll look when they ask me like, Daddy, when you coming home? Or Daddy, why are you in jail? And it hurts. It hurts. I can assure you that I will not come back to jail, and selling drugs is no longer an option in my life. I plan to do everything the right way.
Let's talk a little bit about your drug addiction. Have
Yes.
you ever had any treatment outside of the prison environment for drugs?
Yes, sir.
What kind of treatment did you have?
It was a drug treatment program I go to once a week, and they give you a test once a month, but it's a pretty intense program. And I successfully completed that.
What have you done inside prison in terms of substance abuse treatment?
Yes, sir. Living in balance, phase 1 and phase 2. That was very comprehensive. That's one of the best programs I've taken in prison. It was truly eye-opening.
You indicated that you do have some community support and you're likely to go to AA meetings or NA meetings. If I choose to grant your parole, I'm going to suggest and recommend and order that you get a substance abuse evaluation and follow treatment, whatever that treatment might be. You willing to do those things?
So I'm willing to do whatever you ask of me.
Let me ask you a little bit about your work history on the outside. What sort of work did you do when you were on the outside?
Yes, sir. I had a landscaping service that I ran.
How long did you have steady employment at any particular time?
4 years.
Got it. I think that's all the questions that I have.
Thank you, Mr. Marabella. Mr. Taylor,
Yes, sir.
when was your last disciplinary write-up?
beginning of 2016, sir.
And what was it for?
Having books and newspaper under my bed.
Have you ever gotten a disciplinary write-up for contraband or intoxication?
No, sir.
Warren Baldwin, would you like to make comments or remarks?
Yes, sir, Mr. Rocha. Kendrick came to us early 2016. Like he said, he hasn't had any write-up since April of 16. It was a pretty insignificant write-up. His bed area not being orderly. Since then, he's been in a lot of classes. He's earned a lot of good time. He volunteers as a healthcare orderly. He takes care of elderly offender. He's also in culinary arts program. He's also taking college courses. He spoke about his drug addiction and his problems. And I think a lot of it has to do with losing his mother, the change in him, and the 2 kids that he has at home, the boy and the girl. That's kind of motivated him to do what he has to do to stay out of trouble. But since he's been here, he's been doing great.
Thank you, Warren. At this time, we'll have a statement from Ms. Kizzy Taylor. Unmute your mic.
Yes, sir. I was recently asked if I can have anything.
Sir, ma'am, give your name and your relationship again.
My name is Cassie Taylor, and I'm the niece of Kendrick Taylor.
Okay.
Okay. I was recently asked if I could have anything in this world or just one wish, what would it be? And my response was for my uncle to be back home with his family. In the past few months, we've got nothing but devastating news, from the loss of my grandmother to COVID-19, which was Kendrick's mom, finding out that my grandpa had stage 4 cancer, which is Kendrick's father, to finding out that I'm about to undergo my 5th open heart surgery. Kendrick and my grandmother were the rock of the family. They kept everyone together. And now we no longer have her, we need him even more. He's not a bad person. He's always loving and caring and would help anybody he could. I really feel like he deserved this chance just to show how he's changed for the better. Not only do I need him, but also his kids need him as well. It's a lot of pieces missing to our puzzle that we'll never get back, but Kendrick being able to be reunited with his family again could change that tremendously. Especially with all that the family is going through. We don't have much, but we don't complain about it. We are very close and very family oriented. And as long as we're all together during times like this, nothing else matters. So I just pray that he gets this chance to be back with his family again.
Thank you, Ms. Cassie.
Thank you.
Mr. Taylor, would you like to make a closing statement?
Yes, sir. I want to just thank the board for giving me this chance to present myself. And whatever the outcome is, again, just thank the board. Thank you. Thank my family too.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes, sir.
Just a word to the wise. You're a second felony offender. If given the opportunity, and I really think your family is in need of your presence. But if you become a third felony offender, you know exactly what's going to happen to you.
Sure.
You're going to bill you as an habitual offender and double the sentence, and you'll be an old man incarcerated. As Ms. Wise said, are you tired?
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Mr. Belanger, would you like to close it out?
Yes, Your Honor. You know, I look at what Mr. Taylor has done in the few years that he has been in jail, and I think it's truly remarkable. When you look at how he gets here into jail, we see that there are some defects that needed to be addressed, and I think that he has done what he could do inside of jail to address them. You know, he obviously has a substance abuse issue that was driving his life on the streets. And when you couple that with the lack of opportunity, admittedly, that he created, it really put him into a bad spot. Now, since he has been in jail, he has taken the living and the balance 1 and 2 for the substance abuse. So he's done what he could there. I also think that the question about any type of write-ups with regards to contraband is important, because it shows that he has not even, you know, been tempted within what we know is available inside the 4 walls of jail. But that's not enough. He also has to change his being. And I think he's shown changing his being by doing the parenting classes, by also enrolling in the seminary to take some Bible classes to just change his character. But the thing that really impresses me is how he is setting himself for opportunity on the outside. He is in jail and is about to get a college degree in business, and he wants to marry that to the culinary classes that he has taken. So he is doing what he can to put himself in a better position when he gets out of jail than when he ever went into jail. And I would agree with Judge Maribel that it's probably something that we want to make sure that he has some type of structure on him dealing with the substance abuse. Perhaps it's, you know, I know Judge Maribel did a lengthy drug court program for many years in Baton Rouge, and so there's an accountability of things that take place when you are involved in a substance abuse program on the outside. And I think that that would be wise. I know he's got some plans, some really good plans, and he does not want to succumb to any type of temptations. But I do think the extra effort of getting the substance abuse evaluation, probably doing some type of outpatient monitoring as a condition of parole would be beneficial to him, coupling that with supporting him continuing to finish his degree and then going to get that job and starting his own business that he wants to do. I think he's done everything that he could do in prison to better himself. I think he has demonstrated that he has been rehabilitated, and would ask this board to show some mercy his way and release him on parole.
Thank you, Counselor. Is the panel ready to vote?
I'm ready.
Mrs. Wise.
Mr. Taylor, I heard you described as a rock, and I also heard that in your 43 years, you've had 16 years in jail, and you've worked consistently for 4 years. So that's a vast, that's a vast history. And when you're the rock of the family, you have to make sure you take care of you, so that you will have something to give out to others, and not return to your addiction. That's scary when they say you're the rock of the family. That's a lot of responsibility, and that could tend to have you use it. So now that you've had 525 days of programs, I think you can deal with that better. I am prepared to take a chance on you. My vote is to grant your parole, and once you're released, undergo a substance abuse evaluation and follow their recommendation. They're gonna give you a sheet asking what you should do. Give that to your parole officer, so your parole officer can monitor that and make sure that you follow whatever those recommendations are. Because of your poor supervision record, I want you to report weekly to probation parole for the first 4 weeks. And that's gonna be whenever it's COVID allowed to report. Because I don't know how they're gonna be doing it when you first get out in terms of reporting. We don't know what's going on with that. And I like to see you get some grief counseling, because that's gonna be hard. My vote is based on your low Tiger score, your outstanding comments from the warden, your good programs, and your family support here today, and your transition plan. That is my vote. Oh, yes, and I also random drug screen by probation parole over the entire period of supervision. That means they can just call you one day to come in for a random drug screen. That is my vote.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Taylor, I have always looked at people who are sent to prison with the view that they can either become better criminals in prison or they can better themselves. And it's clear to me that you've taken advantage of most opportunities that you had there. You've bettered yourself. You've taken a lot of programs. You've almost completed a college degree. And I think that's remarkable. I likewise am willing to take a chance on you. I'm going to vote to grant your parole for the reasons already mentioned by Ms. Wise. In addition to the things that I've commented on, I would like to simply add as a condition to the substance abuse evaluation that you do at least 3 AA meetings or NA meetings a week for at least the first 6 months, and provide proof to your parole officer that you have done that. I'm sure you realize that AA meetings and NA meetings and drug addiction, and I don't know exactly your history, although I've seen a lot of it. I don't know exactly how addicted you are. Some people are addicted and some people are abusive. I suspect that you're addicted. And if you are, it's a lifelong thing. So you need to learn to make sure that you go to those AA meetings and continue to do those AA meetings for the rest of your life. You've got a good support system, and I wish you the best.
Mr. Taylor, You have received 2 votes to grant your request. I too will agree with my colleagues this morning and vote to grant your request. And I'll add one condition to my vote. I want you to do community service with at-risk youth. You have a story to tell, and you have a responsibility to see that the youngsters in your community don't take the same road you took. You have a story to tell. This is why I say it all the time. You have a story to tell. Tell this story, and by telling the story, it will remind you where you came from. And it will remind you that you don't want to go back.
And also, Mr. Taylor, we have learned that, and I know your niece can help you, the AA&NA meetings can be online, and they can help you find an avenue to do that online. So that's something you can be doing now. That's what we've been told.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, you have received 3 votes to grant your request with conditions, and you'll also have a curfew from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. You have received 3 votes. Your request for early release has been granted. You have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Jones.
Good morning.
My name's Alvin Roche. I will chair your hearing this morning. With the panel, introduce yourself. Ms. Wise, unmute.
Good morning. My name is Pearl Wise.
Unmute your mic. Unmute your mic, Judge.
Good morning. My name is Tony Marabella.
Mr. Jones, you're here for a parole hearing. Let me explain the process. I'll read some information into the record. Once that information is in the record, we'll conduct a parole interview with you. At the appropriate time, we allow Warden Woodrow to make a statement if he wishes. Then we allow your wife to make a statement on your behalf. At the very end, you will be allowed to make a statement on your behalf. Do you understand the process?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, you are a second felony offender. Your offenses are, one second. Your offenses are possession with the intent to distribute cocaine. You were sentenced on 7/10/2009. You received a 45-year sentence. Your parole date was 5/5/20. Your adjusted good time date is 6/6/51, and your full term date 6/1/52. Is this information correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I've been assigned your case, Mr. Jones, so I will begin. Mr. Jones, you're currently 41 years of age. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've been incarcerated for 13 years on a 45-year sentence.
Yes, sir.
And you've been convicted of 2 felonies and have 6 or 7 arrests as an adult.
Yes, sir.
Anytime this information is not correct, you let me know.
Excuse me, sir. Well, I've been incarcerated since February of 2009, February 6, 2009, up until now.
So you hadn't been incarcerated for 13 years.
I caught this charge. I received this charge in June 1st, 2007. So that's what they have it up.
And they gave you jail credits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get me
So
in
you've been
jail.
you've been incarcerated for 13 years,
All right, yes, sir.
according to your master record.
Right.
I see where you've earned 360 days good time. Tell me about the programs you've completed.
Well, I took a few class. I took a class called Nurturing Parenting.
Parenting, okay, go ahead.
Nurturing Parenting was a class.
Sir, just give me the name of the classes.
Nurturing Parenting, Fathering Parenting, Pre-Release, Living in Balance, Phase 1 and 2, and in my GED.
When did you get your GED?
I received my GED in, I believe, 2011.
Okay. Okay. Have you had thinking for a change?
No, sir.
Anger management?
Yes, sir. I'm currently in anger management as we speak.
Okay. And the only substance abuse you received was living in balance?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me which of those programs supply information that aided in your rehabilitation?
I really like living in balance.
Okay. Tell me about your disciplinary issues. How many disciplinary issues have you had since 2009?
Dismarried?
How many disciplinary issues have you had since 2009?
I don't know, man. Since 2009, how many disciplinary? I can't.
When was your last disciplinary write-up?
2018.
And what was that for?
Contraband.
And what was the contraband?
Cigarette.
A regular cigarette or marijuana?
Yes. Regular cigarette.
Okay. What is your job at the facility?
I'm a groundskeeper and I keep the windows clean.
Are you a trustee?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because of the time that I'm currently serving, I believe that's the reason for my trustee status ability.
Okay. Warden, would you like to chime in?
Yes, sir. He hasn't had a write-up since March of 2018. He had quite a few write-ups over the years, most of them pretty minor. Like the last one, it was just a cigarette that he was smoking in the TV room. No major disciplinary issues. He has completed several classes. We did speak about his family support. He has a wife and a son. I believe he told me he had a couple of job prospects possibly lined up, but no actual employment plan.
Can you give me an explanation of why he is not a trustee?
Just his time. He has too much time to be eligible for a trustee.
Okay, okay. Mr. Jones, do you have any vocational skills?
Yes, sir, but not here, sir.
What is your vocational skill?
Well, I'm good at, I was DDS satellite installment. I was a DDS satellite installment and basic electronic and cabling with fiber optic.
So you worked for a cable company?
I worked for a cable company in 2002 until 2003. Neptune Communications.
Okay. Now, I have a question for you, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Why should I vote to release you after you've only served less than 30 of your sentence.
Mhm. I feel to believe that you should release me, sir, due to my arriving here. You know, it just took a lot of time for me to see to really and fully understand why I'm here. I understand that, you know, I take full action and responsibility for the crime that I committed that what got me here, you know, and, you know, since I've been here, I really developed, you know, as I took Jesus Christ as my savior, you know what I'm saying, and began to live my life according to the word, you know what I'm saying, it really just did something to me and changed me, you know what I'm saying? So I try to surround myself around positive people. And it's just that I have a son, I have a family, I have a wife. Since I've been incarcerated, I was incarcerated in 2009, my son was 4 years old. I've been out of his life that long, and now he's 15 on his way to be 16 years old. I just want to give him what I didn't have coming up at that age. I just want to be there for him. I want to be a husband. I'm ready to be a husband to my wife. I'm ready to be a father to my son. I'm ready to be a big brother to my brothers and sisters. I'm just ready to be a citizen. I'm ready to provide for my family. I'm ready to work from paycheck to paycheck.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
you said your son was 4 years old.
Yes, sir.
You were arrested.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a full-time job?
No, sir. Part-time.
Tell me why you didn't have a full-time job with a family.
Okay, the job that I was working, I had just left another job and went to this job here, and that's the only job availability that they had for me was a part-time position, so I took that.
Okay. Now, your son was 4 years old. How long had you been selling drugs prior to your arrest?
Well, it's like maybe like.
Sir, it's not
Yes, sir.
like about how long were you selling drugs at the time of your arrest?
I say like a year.
Okay. Ms. Wise?
Mr. Jones, and that's what I had wrote in my note. I just want to know the reason for you getting a charge of possession with the intent to distribute cocaine, and you had a 4-year-old son. But Mr. Roche has already asked that. I won't go back into that. I do want to inform you, as a part of this process, we reach out to the law enforcement community to get their opinion about early release. And I want you to know there's some opposition to you getting out early. I mean, the judge sent a resounding message, you know, giving you a 45-year sentence. So you do understand that. And we have to take that into account. But I also saw where you have multiple tattoos. So what's going on with all these tattoos? What's it all about?
I have a few tattoos, ma'am, that I received when I was home. A few. I don't have more than 10 tattoos. It just was like a fashion statement. It was nothing that I, you know, it wasn't, you know, a few names like my name, my wife's name, my son's name, my mama's name, you know, a few other things like that.
Okay. Okay, all right. That's all I had, Chairman.
Mr. Marabella.
Mr. Jones, have you used drugs in the past?
Yes, sir.
What kind of drugs have you used in the past?
Heroin.
When was that?
I had to say like a year up to my arrest.
A year prior to your arrest?
Yes, sir.
That's the first time you used heroin? That's when you started using drugs, about a year before your arrest?
No, sir.
When did you start using drugs?
I started using drugs when I was like about 17 years old, 17, 18 years old, sir.
And what kind of drugs have you used between then and now?
And then and now,
You used heroin. You were charged with possession with intent to distribute cocaine. Did you use cocaine?
I tried it, sir.
Tried it? What does that mean, tried it? Tried it one time and didn't do it? Didn't like it, or what?
I mean, it's just at one point in time, it just was like, I tried this drug for a while, I did that for a while, and certain things I feel that wasn't for me, and certain things I just got away from.
Okay. Now, the heroin you used about a year before you got arrested for this particular charge?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Roche asked you a question, and he said, when did you start dealing drugs? And you said about a year before you got arrested for this charge. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You stand by that?
It all started around the same time.
Didn't you plead guilty to 18 counts of distribution of cocaine in 1997?
Yes, sir.
That was more than a year before this arrest.
That's when I was 18 years old, sir.
Well, he didn't ask you, when did you start dealing drugs when you became 21? He said, when did you start dealing drugs? And you said about a year before I was arrested. It
Yes, sir.
bothers me, Mr. Jones,
Yes, sir.
that you were downplaying your drug dealing and your criminality.
Yes,
You
sir.
know, 45 years is a long time for possession with intent to distribute drugs. You
Yes,
know,
sir.
in some jurisdictions, you might not get that much. You happen to be in a jurisdiction where you got a significant penalty. I'm now seeing perhaps why. Because you had been dealing drugs previously. You don't seem to accept responsibility for what you're doing. You're not being honest with us. You're not telling us that, I've been dealing drugs for a long time. Been dealing drugs since the 90s. And that's how I made my living. I came to prison. I learned some things. I got a 4-year-old son. I want to get out and I want to straighten him out. But you're not shooting straight with us. Ms. Wise asked you, why should I trust you? Why should I put you back out? You said, oh, all of the things I've learned. I'm not sure what you've learned. So explain to me why I should take a chance on you when you're not even being honest with us here.
Okay, sir. I just need you to bear with me if you will, please.
I'll bear with you. I want to hear it.
I'm a little nervous. This is the first time this is ever I had to ever sit here and
Nerves do not make you lie.
Right. I don't have no reason to lie, sir. I have my whole life ahead of me. Yes, I did some things in my past. I didn't know you had wanted to hear about back then, but yes, when I was 18 years old, I was convicted of possession with intent to distribute. And
18 separate counts.
18 separate counts of this with intent to distribute. And I carved off for 10 years. And I did 5 years off those 10. And during those 5 years of my incarceration, I learned a few things, took a few self-help programs, and that's where I got the DBS satellite hookup and the cable, electronic, and fiber optics.
And it was after you got out from that, you got rearrested for possession with intent to distribute cocaine.
Once I was released from there, I completed my 5 years parole. And started working. Everything was starting to doing fine. So I take responsibility for myself. I can't say nobody else made me do anything that I didn't want to do. I can't say that. So I took it upon myself and started using a little and started dealing a little. I took that upon myself. I can't blame nobody for that.
Why did you do that?
I did that because I felt like at the time where I felt like I couldn't get this job, I couldn't make this much amount of money. I wanted to make this much amount of money to have my family for this and for that, just for excuses just to do that, was something that I didn't need to do. I could have just searched for a job until I found that right job. Get a job, I could have worked 2 jobs if I had to. That's what I'm willing to do now.
Well, let me stop you for a second. Didn't you
Yes.
say the first time you went to prison,
Yes,
took
sir.
some classes, you
Yes,
came
sir.
out and you were working for Neptune Cable Company?
Right, I got laid off at Neptune. I got laid off at Neptune's Communication, and from there on, I had to go find another job
Why did you get laid off?
because the company went out of business. It was a contract. It was a contracting company, and they go find jobs. And so from there, I had to find. I never had a problem finding a job. I never had a problem finding a job. It's just that I took on the role of using drugs. And don't get me wrong, like I take full responsibility for my actions. I took on as using drugs to sell drugs to really supply for my drug habit. It wasn't never to where I'm selling drugs and I'm taking care of I'm paying my rent, I'm buying cars. It wasn't never nothing like that. It wasn't never nothing like that.
Well, what were you paying? What were you paying your rent with?
I was paying when I was paying my rent. When I wasn't paying my rent, my wife was paying my rent. And when I was paying my rent, I was paying my rent from when I was working. All the time that I was selling drugs, I was using drugs at the same time. And that's how it started. It started from me using. It never started from me dealing first. When I caught those first 19 counts of distribution on my first offense, when I was 18 years old, half of those separate accounts were counterfeit drugs to help me buy so I can use. I never sold drugs in just bought cars and stuff. It mostly was because of my using addiction that I had. That's what it mostly was. I never had a problem finding a job. I had jobs. I never had a problem finding a job.
What sort of substance abuse treatment have you taken outside of prison?
Outside of prison, I never took a substance abuse class.
What about inside of prison? What sort of treatment have you had inside prison?
The treatment that I've had over these 11 something years that I have been down, the treatment that I have here, I've been to NA and AA, and I've been to the phase 1 and 2 living in balance. Phase 1 and 2 living in balance. I'm currently 40, about to be 42 years old next month. I don't have no more time. I don't have no more room for mistakes. I don't have no more time for drugs. That's the thing of my past. Drugs is the thing of the past for me.
All right, Mr. Jones, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
You're welcome.
At this time, Warden Barlow, you made your comments already, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Jones, would you like to make a statement on the offender's behalf?
We have Randall Miles, Mr. Myers here. Mr. Roche.
We're gonna hear the family first and then Mr. Myers last. Ms. Jones, would you please state your name again and your relationship to the offender?
I'm Dominica Jones. I'm his wife.
What would you like to tell us?
I just would like to say that I've been here with my husband throughout his 11 years incarcerated. I just want to let y'all know he has a lot of support out here. Family, both sides of his family, my family, New Jerusalem Deliverance Church stands behind him. He's grown since he's been there. He's a changed person. He takes responsibility for his mistakes of the past. But as he stated, it's a part of his past. You know, we have a 15-year-old son. You know, I just hope and pray, Y'all give him another chance in society so he could come out here and help with him and help raise him and keep him on the right path. He's a good child. He just want his father. I want my husband. And I just hope and pray that y'all see fit to give him another chance. He's definitely made a change.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thank you.
Would you mute your mic? We'll hear from Mr. Randall Myers of the Jefferson Parish DA's office.
Good morning, Randall Myers, Assistant DA, Jefferson Parish. I tell you, I came to Mr. Jones's hearing this morning kind of leaning toward taking a no position on him, but after listening to the questions and some of the responses, I have to oppose him today. A lot of the statements that Judge Maravella commented on, I agree with, and I think those are big issues for Mr. Jones. I'd like for him to get back to be with his wife and his child, but I think if he's released now, he's not going to be with them long. He's going to be right back in the system and right back in jail. One thing I wanted to point out, he made the comment of the 18 counts of distribution being his first offense. Well, in 96, he had a simple battery, 97, possession of marijuana convictions, 97, 2 counts of forgery prior to the distribution charge. I'm concerned with the programs or the lack of programming. I think he needs some additional substance abuse before he gets out. He needs to complete his anger management. I think that's an important thing from what I'm hearing from this hearing today. And I would like to see him get some other kind of vocational programming to help him get a job when he gets out, because I have some real concerns of his ability to get a job and not get back to selling drugs when he is released. So for those reasons, we're opposed.
Thank you, Mr. Myers. Mr. Jones, would you like to make a closing statement?
Yes, sir. Can I present, I wrote something down. Is it okay that I present?
Sir?
I wrote something down. Is it okay that I present it to y'all?
As long as it's brief.
Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for the allowing the Department of Correction, Probation, and Parole for giving me this opportunity of a lifetime to present myself to y'all. I come humbly with all meekness in the likeness of a changed man. Due to my current circumstances, this incarceration has given me the chance to fully understand why I'm here today. I take all responsibilities for my action which landed me here. As I see now, this was all for the forbearance of me. Through my stay here, I accepted the Heavenly Father as my Savior through the word of truth and allowed the Spirit of God to lead me into all righteousness, forming and shaping me into the man that I'm supposed to be.
Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
Tell us why we should vote to release you today.
I feel like y'all should vote to release me today because I'm a changed man. I really need to be here. I just want to be there for my family. My son really needs me. I've been out of this life for so long. It's only so much that I could do for him. Drugs are a thing of the past for me. I know y'all can look at my record and see I deserve a chance. I surround myself around positive people. I have taken classes that I was able to get into. I don't have no more time for mistakes. Mistakes is over with me. It's my time to be a family man now. My son is 15 years old. I remember when I was 15 at that age. I remember when I was that age and didn't have a father figure. I have a whole lot to give him right now. I just need to be there for my family right now. They've been with me these years. Now it's my turn.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Thank you.
Mr. Jones, I will vote first since that case was assigned to me. Mr. Jones, I too, like Mr. Myers from the DA's office, came in with hopes that you would have a good interview today I've read the letters from your son. I've read the letters that your wife sent in, and I really feel for your family. But in my estimation, you are not ready to be released. You had a very bad interview today. You were not honest. You hemmed it hard. You tried to skirt the issue. And then at the very end, you started with a very negative attitude. A negative attitude during a parole hearing for an offender is not a good thing. We're here to help you. And you got very defensive. And based on your interview today, a history of drug convictions, very strong opposition from the judge, the DA's office, law enforcement, my vote is to deny your request. You should spend time between this hearing and the next hearing to adjust your attitude, to take some more substance abuse treatment, and most of all, at your next hearing, when you're asked the question, be truthful. Tell the whole truth. Do not try to skirt the issue. Ms. Wise.
Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, Mr. Jones, I know your concern is getting out. This panel's concern is with you staying out. That's our major concern, is when you get out, you can stay out. And like you said, you indicated to Judge Melbello that you started using drugs at 16. And like you said, your son is 15. That has to weigh on you. But I have been told there are ways that you can support your son where you are. You need to be writing him letters every week. You need to be encouraging and doing what you can do. But in the interest of you staying out, I concur with Mr. Roche. My vote is denied. Once you get some vocational training, and once you get some substance abuse training, and for the other reason he stated, I think you'll be more suitable. I encourage you to write back when you're eligible for a rehearing, and I want you to own it. Own who you were, own it. That is my vote.
Mr. Marabella. Are you muted, Judge?
Mr. Jones, one of the things that I've learned in my experience, that a substance abuser who has not accepted the consequences of their actions, or the fact that they have a drug problem, are dishonest and manipulative. And you have shown both of those things today. Like Mr. Roche and Mr. Meyer, I was on the fence. I was likely to say, look, he's done some things. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on him. But you've convinced me today not to do that, because my fear is to let you out. Not only will you let your son down, but you may be out there dealing drugs again, killing somebody, doing something like that. I see you shaking your head, but you have not convinced me today that that is not the case. I'm going to suggest that you do some more substance abuse in jail. You get a work plan. You don't have a work plan. You've got the warden indicated, or you got some prospects, but you don't have any particular plan. Now you say, I've looked in your record and it says you're a mechanic. You indicated to us you've got some skills with working with cable people. If you can get a job and keep that job, that may be something the next time that may be helpful to you. But by all means, the next time you come before the parole board, be honest. We know your record. You can't fool us by by being dishonest about things that we already know. So I also vote to deny.
Mr. Jones, you have received 3 votes to deny your request. I would suggest that you spend the time between now and the next hearing to take some substance abuse and try to take anger management again, because you need to be calm, cool, collective, and your attitude was less than desirable today. So basically, you received 3 votes to deny. Your request has been denied. You have a good day.
Hello?